Good morning. Today is the fourth day of Iyar. And we're making our way towards a better day, getting past the cloud of COVID. So I thought from this week's Torah portion that I think is relevant to something we're experiencing, something that's being underscored, brought to light more with this pandemic environment. The idea of aloneness, we can call it loneliness, but the aloneness means that there are too many people in the world who we can see more now are alone and feel alone. And perhaps maybe when we're more mixing together and there's so many distractions, we don't notice the more fundamental aloneness that is coming now into sharper relief, given the fact that we can't cover it over with the social gatherings and the more papering it over. And it's something I think we have to remember this going forward, even once we get back into whatever is called normal life at that time, to remember the fact that we each can help heal some of the aloneness or the loneliness in the world. But I really wanted to think about something else, an aloneness that maybe is a little bit more deeper, more existential, which isn't the idea of just the social aloneness, having someone to speak to, having someone who cares, which is critical for the human condition, but a more fundamental one, which is a sense of, do I have in the world? Am I alone in the world? Even if I'm in a crowd, I mean, people are calling me, or they're messaging me on Facebook, or sending me emails. Deep inside, am I alone in this world? Was I brought here for a purpose? Do I matter? That type of aloneness. And to me, it brings a conversation I had with a gentleman who would come just about every Shabbos morning, cover services. He's unfortunately no longer in this world. He would come generally early on a Shabbos morning. I'm always there early, and we'd get into some philosophical or theological discussions, and sometimes we talk about God. And I'm someone who feels pretty firmly, very firmly, about God's presence in my life and the existence of God in my life, and the existence of God and my connectedness. And this gentleman struggled, which is not abnormal or unusual for the people I'm interacting with. And he made a comment to me along the lines of, well, you're not really a fair opinion, because you were raised believing in God, raised with a sense of connectedness, raised with this type of religious perspective. So you're coming at it from a different perspective. Have you ever had a time when you didn't believe that there's a God caring you, caring over and watching you? And I said, I don't think so. So he said, imagine that. God doesn't care about me anymore. Which I totally don't believe, but I know that's an attitude. And I wanted to point out something in this week's Torah portion, and I mentioned yesterday, I believe it's 2 Torah portions combined. God says in the Torah,